Good morning. It's Wednesday morning again, and I have chosen for my thought for today, my thought process, to help you with your meditation and just kind of get your day started, to talk about spiritual strength. I wrote my Wednesday email prayer on it. What happened was I had this envelope, which you can't with the light see. It's one of our giving envelopes. And quite often I end up using those. There, can't see that really. When Reverend Edith, before that Reverend Blair, would say something that I wanted to remember. So this was probably, I could look back and maybe tell better, but it was probably somewhere in February, maybe January. She said, spiritual strength is our capacity to stand undaunted in the midst of shifting circumstances and to stay the course. Now, that's not always easy to do. Spiritual strength isn't always easy to have. And circumstances in our lives come up, and, we may not want to do it, but we end up showing that we have spiritual strength. And God offers that to us. And another part of this that I have written down here, in fact, I had to email Ron Council yesterday to find out. I had this earworm going that I wanted to use with this, but I couldn't remember the exact words. So I kind of gave him a synopsis of what I was looking for, and he sent me back the music immediately. With the sheet portion of the music, which I found out it was written in 1986 by Reverend Blair, which is what I thought he'd written it. But he wrote, God will make of us spiritual giants. Can you feel the power moving? Now is the acceptable time. Well, I don't know whether any of you who have been in Unity San Diego for a while remember we used to do that in rounds, where some of us would sing the first verse and then the second verse would be started by the second group. The first group would start the second verse, the second group would start the first verse, and then so on. It was easier to do it than to say it. Anyway, that it got me to thinking, we're in a time where we're weary. We're all really tired of this. We're tired of COVID. We're tired of the heat. We're tired of not seeing our friends. We're tired of not going to church. We're tired of not seeing our family. We're tired of not being able to hug. We're tired of being lonely. All of those things. And we don't even think about it. But to get through this time, it's taken some spiritual strength. Maybe you can associate more with something that has taken spiritual strength. I'm thinking of my friend Jackie, whom many of you know, and her husband Russ. They have been spiritually strong over the last few years, especially when she had her accident halfway across, or all the way across the country, and was in the hospital in New Hampshire for more than a month and was flown back here. The fact that she even survived was incredible. But the spiritual strength it took her to get back to where she is today, and the spiritual strength it took Russ to support her in the way that he did every day by her bedside, hardly leaving it, that's spiritual strength to me. I have a couple of friends who've had cancer and have lived through it, and that was spiritual strength. I had a dear friend who had cancer and it came back, and just before she knew it came back, a mutual friend of ours had a heart attack and died. He was only 52 or 53, and we were both really saddened by that. And she got a diagnosis in April that her cancer, this happened in February, got a diagnosis in April that it was terminal. So she decided to just live her life out, and she went to Hawaii with her husband in June when school was out, and she got really sick, was flown home, and everybody thought she was dying. And she survived that, and the reason she survived that was she didn't want to go out of this world not having closure with all of her friends. She wanted to have her celebration of life before she died. So her friends, we all put together a thing at her house. She was in a hospital bed, but we all got to say goodbye to her, and she got to say goodbye to all of us. That took real spiritual strength to be able, for all of us, to do that for her and for her to be able to do that. But she was bound and determined that she was going to give us closure, and she could have closure too. So there's all kinds of different spiritual strengths. I'm sure each of you can remember something in your life that you really wish hadn't happened, but you lived through it. You lived through it because of help. Whenever I get to the point where I'm not sure I can handle it, I call the prayer ministry, or I call Silent Unity, or I send a prayer request on email to Silent Unity. Those prayer requests, being able to do that, it's almost like a burden off your shoulders so that you know you're not the only one who's working on this. And praying for others, praying for friends, um, praying for family members, it doesn't matter. It is helping them with their spiritual strength. It's just like when, the when you're on the two footsteps on the beach, and then there's only one, and it was God carrying you. Well, you had the spiritual strength to have your feet put back down on that sand. So we have a lot more spiritual strength within us than we realize. And I do believe that one of the things that a lot of us will come out of this situation that we're in, this COVID situation, is being a lot stronger. We've lived through uncertainty. We're living with uncertainty. We've lived through lack of physical connection. We have to make our connection in other ways. Being the Facebook like this, Zooms, Snapchat, phone calls, emails, letters, notes. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We all can support each other with spiritual strength, and we can support ourselves. So what I would like to ask you to do is we're going to close our eyes, and I'm going to take you on a little personal journey for yourself, and then we will open back up and I will finish with some affirmations. So let's close our eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Okay. Now, I would like you to take a moment to think of 3 or 4 things in your life where you needed spiritual strength. Maybe it was a health challenge. Maybe it was a relationship challenge. Maybe it was the loss of a loved one, or the loss of a job, or a move that you weren't sure you wanted to make. Think about those, and think about the fact you're still here. You're still here. You're still believing in God. You still believe in spirit. You wouldn't be listening to this meditation if you didn't have some spiritual guidance and spirit within you. So let's think about those things for a minute. Okay, let's breathe in and out for slow breaths for 2 or 3 breaths. Breathing in and out, and in and out. Okay, let's open our eyes. I don't know what you thought during that period of time of what you survived and that you're still here and it led you to where you are. What I thought about was the first 3 years of the 21st century. My mom died 4 days after Madeline was born. My brother died about 15 months after that, and he was one of my best friends. I was very close to him. And my aunt, who died in 2012 in November, in 2010, 2002, 2002 in November. That was 3 deaths in 2 years. And it was rough for me. But it led me to, which was then Christ Church Unity. I needed something to help me with my spiritual strength. So all of those things were difficult. But what it led me to has changed my life. I wouldn't be who I am today if I hadn't got to that, into church that day, and realized that there was other people who felt like I did, and who could help me with my spiritual strength. We are strong together, and we can reach out to each other. We love each other, we care about each other, and when one of us is down, feeling down, and not feeling like we're spiritually strong, we can ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't need to be proud. We're part of a community. So ask for prayer. Have a meditation. Listen to the service on Sunday. Watch the service on Sunday. Come to fellowship. Read the email prayers. Read the daily word. Whatever it takes for you to keep up your spiritual strength. To get through today, next week, this period of COVID, for however long it lasts, to get through the next 27 days of all the political ads, and to get through the time after that until the decision of the election is made and the transfer of power, if there is one, whatever it needs, whatever we need, we have the spiritual strength to get through it. So keep that in mind as you go through your day. And remember, God made of us spiritual giants. God made of us spiritual giants. Can you feel the power moving? Now is the acceptable time. So I have a few affirmations for you. Not the ones that I put in my email prayer, but these are the ones that I saved for this morning. This one is from this month. It's today, actually. I am filled with unlimited strength. I am filled with unlimited strength. I am filled with unlimited strength. And then this one is from the Daily Word, March 17th, 2020. I am blessed with the strength to do and be my best. I am blessed with the strength to do and be my best. And then this one is from June 16th, 2020. I persevere with the strength of spirit within me. I persevere with the strength of spirit within me. Remember that as you go through today. You have spirit strength within you. Whether it's just trying to put one foot in front of the other, or trying to accomplish a goal, or trying to get through this time.